Have you ever had one of those mornings where your bed feels like quicksand? Where the simple act of lifting your blanket seems to require the strength of 1,000 men? Where the mere thought of facing another day makes your heart sink deeper into your chest? I see you, I feel you, and I want you to know you're not alone in this struggle. Not by a long shot. The alarm rings. That familiar sound pierces through your dreams. And in that moment, a war begins inside your mind. A war between who you are and who you know you could be. Between the comfort of your sheets and the calling of your soul. Between the darkness that whispers stay and the light that beckons you forward. Let me tell you something profound. This isn't just about getting out of bed. This is about something far deeper. This is about the relationship you have with your own existence. This is about the story you tell yourself before your feet ever touch the floor. You see, what's really holding you down isn't your blanket. It's not fatigue. It's not even the comfort of your mattress. What's holding you down is the weight of yesterday's disappointments, the burden of unfulfilled dreams, the heaviness of repeated patterns that you've carried for far too long. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the weight I'm talking about. Really feel it. That heaviness in your chest, that fog in your mind, that invisible force pushing you back down every time you think about rising. Do you feel it? Good. Now here's the truth that's going to shake your world. That weight isn't real. It's an illusion created by your mind, reinforced by your habits, and maintained by your beliefs. But wait, you say, the pain feels real. The exhaustion feels real. The overwhelming feeling of I can't do this anymore feels devastatingly real. And you're right, these feelings are real, but they're not your reality unless you choose them. Think about water for a moment. When water's frozen, it's hard, immovable, stuck in place. But what happens when you apply heat? It transforms, it flows, it moves freely. Your morning struggle is like that frozen water. It seems solid, unchangeable, a fixed part of your existence. But I'm here to tell you, you have the power to transform it. Let me share something powerful with you. Every morning, billions of people around this world face the same battle you're facing. Some are fighting illness. Some are fighting poverty. Some are fighting circumstances that would bring most of us to our knees. Yet they rise. Not because it's easy. Not because they feel like it. But because somewhere deep inside, they've connected with a truth that I'm about to share with you. The truth is, your morning struggle isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. Those moments when you feel like you can't possibly get up, they're not trying to break you. They're trying to make you. They're not trying to stop you. They're trying to start you. They're not trying to defeat you. They're trying to complete you. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think the solution is to fight harder, to use more willpower, to shame themselves into action. My friend, that's like trying to force a flower to bloom. It doesn't work that way. The flower blooms when it's ready, when the conditions are right, when it's nurtured properly. But if your morning struggle isn't a sign of weakness, but a sign that you're ready for transformation, what if this very challenge, the one that feels like it's breaking you, is actually the doorway to your breakthrough? You see, we've been conditioned to believe that strength means never struggling, that success means never failing, that growth means never feeling stuck. But that's a lie, a devastating lie that's kept too many good people trapped in cycles of shame and self-doubt. The truth, the beautiful, liberating truth, is that your struggle is sacred. Those moments when you feel like you can't go on, they're not your weakness showing, they're your wisdom growing, they're not your failure flourishing, they're your foundation forming. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. If you were to watch this process, your heart might ache. You might want to help to make it easier to break open the cocoon yourself. But here's the miraculous thing, that struggle is essential. It's during that very struggle that the butterfly's wings develop the strength they need to fly. Your morning struggle is your cocoon moment. It's not trying to keep you down, it's trying to teach you how to fly. But here's the key, just like the butterfly, you need to understand the purpose of your struggle. You need to see it not as your enemy, but as your ally. Take a moment right now. Take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs. Feel your heart beating in your chest. Feel the life force flowing through your body. This This right here is your power source. This is your reminder that you're alive, that you're capable, that you're ready for what's next. Now, I want you to think about tomorrow morning, but don't think about the struggle. Don't think about the wait. Instead, think about the possibility. Think about the potential. Think about the power that lies dormant within you, waiting to be awakened. What if tomorrow morning isn't another battle to be fought, but an opportunity to be embraced? What if those first moments of consciousness aren't your weakness speaking, but your wisdom whispering? What if getting out of bed isn't about forcing yourself into action, but flowing into your purpose? You see, the morning isn't just the start of your day. It's the start of your next chapter. It's not just about waking up. It's about waking up to who you really are. It's not just about getting out of bed. It's about getting into your life. Think about the sun for a moment. Every morning without fail, it rises. It doesn't question whether it should. It doesn't worry about whether it can. It doesn't doubt its purpose or its power. It simply rises, bringing light to darkness, warmth to coldness, life to everything it touches. You have that same power within you, the same consistency, the same purpose, the same ability to bring light to darkness. But here's the difference. You have choice, and that choice, my friend, is both your challenge and your champion. Every morning when that alarm rings, you're not just choosing whether to get up or not. You're choosing who you want to be. You're choosing what story you want to live. You're choosing whether to remain in the comfort of what is or step into the possibility of what could be. But I hear you asking, how? How do I make that choice when everything in me is screaming to stay in bed? How do I find that strength when I feel completely drained? How do I tap into that power when I feel utterly powerless? The answer lies in understanding this fundamental truth. Your morning struggle isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. It's not a roadblock. It's a roadmap. It's not a sign to stop. It's a signal to start seeing things differently. Remember, the same force that creates mountains from mere pebbles, that turns acorns into oak trees, that transforms caterpillars into butterflies, that same force lives within you. It's not something you need to create. It's not something you need to find. Something you need to remember. And that remembering begins with a simple shift in perspective. Instead of seeing your bed as a battlefield, see it as a launching pad. Instead of seeing your morning as a mountain to climb, see it as a miracle to claim. Instead of seeing your struggle as a sign of weakness, see it as a symbol of your awakening. The fact that you struggled to get up doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human. The fact that it feels hard doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're feeling. The fact that you want to stay in bed doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're aware of the magnitude of what awaits you. Let me tell you something that might shake you to your core. What's really keeping you in bed isn't physical tiredness. It's not the comfort of your mattress. It's not even the warmth of your blanket. It's the story you're telling yourself before you even open your eyes. You know the story I'm talking about. The one that whispers just 5 more minutes. The one that says, today is going to be just like yesterday. The one that convinces you nothing will change anyway, so why bother? These stories, these morning narratives, they're like invisible chains. They wrap around your spirit before your body even has a chance to move. But here's the magnificent truth. You are the storyteller. You have the power to change the narrative. Every great achievement in human history started with someone getting out of bed when they didn't feel like it. Every breakthrough, every discovery, every moment of triumph began with that simple, yet profound decision to rise. But I'm not talking about forcing yourself into action through sheer willpower. That's like trying to push a river upstream. It might work for a while, but it's not sustainable. Instead, I'm talking about something far more powerful, the art of morning alchemy. Alchemy is the ancient practice of turning base metals into gold. Your morning struggle, that's your base metal. And the way you approach it, the way you think about it, the way you store it, that's your chance to turn it into gold. Let me share something profound with you. In nature, darkness doesn't fight light. It can't. The moment light appears, darkness must transform. It's a law of the universe. And the same is true for your morning struggle. You don't need to fight it. You need to transform it. Close your eyes again. Feel that morning heaviness I talked about earlier. Really feel it. Now, instead of pushing against it, welcome it. Instead of resisting it, embrace it. Instead of seeing it as your enemy, recognize it as your teacher. What is this feeling trying to tell me? What wisdom is hidden in this weakness? What power is waiting to be discovered in this apparent powerlessness? You see, every morning when you feel that resistance to getting up, it's not just fatigue you're feeling, it's fear. Fear of facing another day of uncertainty. Fear of stepping into the unknown. Fear of not being enough, doing enough. But here's where the magic happens. Fear and excitement create the exact same physical sensations in your body. The only difference is the story you attach to those sensations. What if that morning anxiety isn't trying to stop you? What if it's actually your body preparing you for something amazing? Think about this. A runner at the starting line feels tension. Their heart races, their palms sweat, their stomach tightens. Sound familiar? It's the same feeling you get when you're lying in bed, dreading the day ahead. But the runner knows something you might have forgotten. Those sensations aren't warning signs. They're starting signals. Your morning struggle isn't your weakness showing. It's your strength growing. It's not your failure flourishing. It's your future forming. Every time you feel that resistance, it's life asking you a profound question. Are you ready to become more than you've been? Let me share a powerful truth with you. The way you start your morning isn't just about that day. It's about every day that follows. It's about who you're becoming. It's about the life you're creating. It's about the legacy you're leaving. Think about water again. When water sits stagnant, it becomes stale. But when it moves, when it flows, it becomes pure. Your morning energy is like that water. It needs movement to maintain its purity. It needs flow to fulfill its purpose. But here's where most people get stuck. They wait to feel motivated before they move. They wait to feel ready before they rise. They wait to feel strong before they start. That's like waiting for the water to purify itself before it starts flowing. It doesn't work that way. The secret is emotion. Action precedes emotion. Action precedes activation. Rising precedes realization. You don't have to feel ready to start. You have to start to feel ready. Take a moment right now and feel the truth of what I'm saying. Feel it in your bones. Feel it in your heart. Feel it in your soul. The power to transform your mornings. And therefore your life isn't something you need to acquire. It's something you need to activate. Think about a garden for a moment. A garden doesn't question whether it should grow. It doesn't doubt its ability to bloom. It simply responds to the conditions it's given. Your morning energy is like that garden. It's not about forcing growth. It's about creating the conditions for growth to happen naturally. So what are these conditions? First, it's about preparing your mental soil the night before. What thoughts are you planning before you sleep? What expectations are you nurturing? What possibilities are you allowing to take root? Second, it's about understanding that resistance is not rejection. When you feel that morning heaviness, that reluctance to rise, that's not your body rejecting the day ahead. That's your spirit requesting something from you. It's requesting clarity. It's requesting purpose. It's requesting meaning. And here's where the real transformation begins. When you start seeing your morning struggle not as something to overcome, but as something to understand. Not as something to fight against, but as something to flow with. Not as something that's happening to you, but as something that's happening for you. Here's the truth that's going to set you free. Every morning when that alarm rings, you're being given a gift, the gift of choice, the gift of chance, the gift of change. You're being given an opportunity to rewrite your story, to reshape your reality, to reclaim your power. But this gift comes with a profound responsibility. The responsibility to choose growth over comfort, to choose possibility over predictability, to choose awakening over avoiding. Think about this. Every morning, millions of flowers turn their faces toward the sun. They don't question whether they should. They don't worry about whether they can. They don't doubt their purpose or their power. They simply turn toward the light. You have that same wisdom within you. That same natural knowing, that same innate power to turn towards your light. But unlike the flowers, you have something even more magnificent. You have choice. And in that choice lies your power to transform not just your mornings, but your entire existence. So tomorrow morning, when that alarm rings, remember this. You're not just waking up to another day. You're waking up to another chance to become who you're meant to be. You're not just getting out of bed. You're stepping into your destiny. You're not just starting your day, you're continuing your journey of transformation. And that journey doesn't require you to be perfect. It doesn't demand that you never struggle. It doesn't expect you to leap out of bed with boundless enthusiasm every single morning. What it asks of you is much simpler, yet far more profound. It asks for your willingness to begin again, to start fresh, to take one more step forward even when standing still feels easier. Now that we understand the deeper meaning behind our morning struggle, let's talk about something truly magical, the sacred dance between who you are and who you're becoming. Because that's what every morning represents. A dance between your current self and your potential self. You see, when that alarm rings, it's not just signaling the start of a new day. It's signaling the start of a new opportunity to choose who you want to be. But here's where most people misunderstand the process. They think transformation requires massive action. They think it demands complete overhaul. They think it needs perfect execution. Let me share a truth that might change everything for you. The most powerful transformations happen in the smallest moments, and the quiet decisions, in the gentle choices, and the whispered yes when everything in you wants to say no. Think about a river carving through rock. It doesn't happen through force. It happens through consistency, through persistence, through the gentle but unstoppable flow of water over time. Your morning transformation works the same way. It's not about forcing massive change. It's about allowing consistent growth. But here's the beautiful paradox. While the process is gentle, the impact is profound. While the steps are small, the journey is magnificent. While the changes seem subtle, the transformation is revolutionary. Let me share something powerful with you. Every morning, when you're lying in bed, feeling that weight we talked about earlier, you're actually experiencing something sacred, that weight. It's not just resistance. It's not just reluctance. It's life itself asking you a profound question. Are you ready to begin? And here's where the magic happens. Your answer doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't even have to be spoken. It just needs to be honest. Because in that honesty, in that raw, real acknowledgement of where you are and where you want to be, transformation begins. The Tallahassee seed first starts to grow. It doesn't burst through the soil in one dramatic moment. It first sends out tiny roots. It slowly stretches toward the light. It gradually unfolds into what it's meant to become. Your morning transformation works the same way. So let's talk about how to nurture this transformation, not through force, but through flow. Not through pressure, but through presence. Not through demanding, but through allowing. Understand this? Your first thoughts upon waking set the tone for your entire day. They're like the first notes of a symphony. They establish the key in which the rest of your day will play out. So instead of immediately engaging with the weight of your responsibilities, engage with the weight of your significance. Take those first moments before your feet touch the floor, before your day demands your attention, and simply breathe. Feel the miracle of your existence. Feel the gift of another day. Feel the possibility that awaits you. But don't just feel it passively. Engage with it actively. Ask yourself these three powerful questions. What beauty might I discover today? What strength might I uncover today? What gift might I offer today? You see, these questions aren't just mental exercises. They're energetic alignments. They're ways of tuning your internal frequency to the frequency of possibility rather than the frequency of burden. Now, let me share something profound with you. Your body is always listening to your thoughts. Every cell, every fiber, every atom of your being is attuned to the story you're telling yourself. So when you lie in bed, feeling heavy, feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, your body responds accordingly. But here's the magnificent truth. You can change that story. Not through force, but through invitation. Not through demanding, but through dancing with possibility. Think about this. When you're dancing, you don't fight gravity. You work with it. You flow with it. You use it to create something beautiful. Your morning transformation can work the same way. Instead of fighting against your resistance, dance with it. Instead of battling your fatigue, blend with it. Instead of pushing against your reality, partner with it. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. When you first wake up, instead of immediately trying to leap out of bed, simply start with your breath. Feel your lungs expand. Feel your chest rise. Feel the life force flowing through you. Then gradually begin to move your body, not with the intention of getting up, but with the intention of awakening. Wiggle your toes. Stretch your fingers. Roll your shoulders. These aren't just physical movements. They're prayers of possibility. They're invitations to awakening. As you do this, remember something crucial? You're not just moving your body. You're moving energy. You're not just stretching muscles. You're stretching possibilities. You're not just awakening physically. You're awakening spiritually. But here's where most people get stuck. They think they need to feel different before they can act different. They wait for motivation to strike like lightning. They wait for inspiration to arrive like a sudden guest. They wait for transformation to happen to them rather than through them. The truth is this: transformation doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. It's not something you wait for. It's something you participate in. It's not something you find. It's something you create moment by moment, choice by choice, breath. Think about a master chef for a moment. They don't just throw ingredients together and hope for the best. They understand the chemistry of cooking. They know how flavors blend. They respect the process of creation. Your morning transformation requires the same level of artistry. The ingredients, your thoughts, your emotions, your physical sensations, the recipe, the way you blend these ingredients together, the cooking time, those precious moments between waking and rising. A day that's not just lived, but crafted, not just experienced, but created. But here's the key: just like a master chef doesn't expect every dish to be perfect, you don't need to expect every morning to be perfect. What matters is not perfection, but presence, not flawless execution, but faithful engagement, not getting it right, but getting it real. Every morning is a new experiment in becoming. Every awakening is a new opportunity for transformation. Every moment of resistance is a new invitation to dance with possibility. So tomorrow morning, when you feel that familiar weight, remember this: you're not just lying in bed, you're lying in possibility. You're not just feeling heaviness, you're feeling the weight of potential transformation. You're not just struggling to get up, you're being invited to rise into a new version of yourself. And that rising, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be immediate. It doesn't even have to be visible to anyone else. It just needs to be real. It needs to be honest. It needs to be yours. Let's talk about something that changes everything: the sacred space between sleeping and waking. That magical moment when you're neither here nor there, when you're between worlds, when you're most pure, most receptive, most capable of transformation. You see, in these precious moments, you're closest to your true nature. Before the world rushes in with its demands, before your mind fills with its usual chatter, before your spirit gets clouded by the day's concerns, you exist in. Think about a blank canvas for a moment. Before the first stroke of paint, it holds every possibility. Every color, every shape, every form exists in potential. Your morning consciousness is like that canvas. Before you engage with the world, before you start your day, you exist in pure potential. But here's where most people miss the magic. They rush through this sacred space. They treat it like a transition to be endured, rather than a transformation to be embraced. They see it as something to get through, rather than something to grow through. Let me share something profound with you. Your morning struggle isn't a barrier to your awakening. It is your awakening, that resistance you feel. It's not blocking your transformation. It's part of your transformation. That heaviness we talked about, it's not preventing your growth. It's preparing you for growth. Think about a butterfly emerging from its cocoon again. And the struggle isn't separate from the transformation. The struggle is the transformation. Every push against the cocoon strengthens the wings. Every moment of resistance, your morning struggle works the same way. Every moment you feel like you can't possibly get up is actually a moment of tremendous opportunity. Every time you feel that weight pressing down is actually a chance to develop spiritual muscle. Every instance of resistance is actually an invitation to resilience. But here's the key. Just like the butterfly doesn't fight its cocoon, you don't need to fight your morning struggle. You need to work with it, flow with it, dance with it. Because in that dance, in that sacred partnership between resistance and resilience, true transformation happens. Let me share something that might shake your world. What if your morning struggle isn't a sign that something's wrong with you? What if it's actually a sign that something's right with you? What if that resistance you feel isn't your weakness speaking, but your wisdom whispering? You see, when you feel that morning heaviness, that reluctance to rise, that's not just physical tiredness speaking, that's your soul asking for attention. That's your spirit requesting presence. That's your deeper self inviting you into conversation. And here's where the real magic happens. And when you start treating your morning struggle not as an obstacle to overcome, but as an oracle to consult, not as a problem to solve, but as a pathway to follow, not as a burden to bear, but as a bridge to cross. Think about this. Every great spiritual tradition speaks of the dawn as a sacred time, a time when the veil between worlds is thinnest, a time when transformation is most possible, a time when wisdom is most accessible. Your morning struggle? It's your personal invitation to this sacred time. But here's where most people get lost. They think spirituality means escaping their struggles. They think transformation means transcending their challenges. They think awakening means avoiding their difficulties. Nothing could be further from the truth. True spirituality isn't about escape. It's about engagement. True transformation isn't about transcendence. It's about integration. True awakening isn't about avoiding, it's about embracing. So tomorrow morning, when you feel that resistance, don't try to push it away. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to overcome it. Instead, get curious about it. Get intimate with it. Get wise to its wisdom. What is this resistance trying to teach me? What is this heaviness trying to tell me? What is this struggle trying to show me? Because here's the truth that changes everything. Your morning struggle isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. It's not a random occurrence. It's a sacred occurrence. It's not just a physical experience. Think about a master surfer for a moment. They don't fight the waves. They don't resist the ocean's power. They work with it. They flow with it. They use its force to create something beautiful. Your morning transformation can work the same way. Instead of fighting against your resistance, surf it. Instead of pushing against your heaviness, partner with it. Instead of trying to overcome your struggle, understand it. But here's the magnificent paradox. This understanding doesn't come through analysis. It comes through presence. It doesn't come through figuring it out. It comes through feeling it out. It doesn't come through solving. It comes through surrendering. We share something powerful with you. Every morning when you first wake up, you're being offered a gift, the gift of choice, the gift of change, the gift of transformation. But this gift doesn't come wrapped in the package you might expect. It doesn't come in the form of sudden motivation. It doesn't arrive as instant inspiration. It doesn't appear as immediate transformation. Instead, it comes wrapped in the very thing you've been trying to avoid, your morning struggle. Think about this. In nature, pressure creates diamonds. Heat refines gold. Resistance builds strength. Your morning struggle, it's not your enemy. It's your ally in the alchemy of awakening. But here's the key. Just like a diamond isn't created overnight, your transformation won't happen in an instant. Just like gold isn't refined in a moment, your awakening won't occur in a flash. Just like strength isn't built in a day, your resilience won't develop immediately. What matters isn't the speed of your transformation. What matters is your commitment to the process. What counts isn't how quickly you rise. What counts is how present you are in the rising. What matters isn't how easily you overcome. What matters is how deeply you engage. Every morning struggle is actually a spiritual invitation. Every moment of resistance is actually a chance for revelation. Every instance of heaviness is actually an opportunity for holiness. So tomorrow morning, when you feel that familiar weight, remember this. You're not just experiencing a physical sensation, you're encountering a spiritual situation. You're not just dealing with morning fatigue. You're dancing with morning wisdom. You're not just struggling to get up. You're being invited to wake up in the deepest sense possible. We've journeyed together through the depths of morning struggles, through the sacred space of transformation, through the alchemy of awakening. Now let's bring it all together in a way that will forever change how you experience your mornings. Remember when we talked about that moment between sleeping and waking? That precious space of pure potential? That's not just a moment in your day. That's a metaphor for your entire life. Every morning, you stand at the threshold between who you've been and who you're becoming. Think about a sunrise for a moment. It doesn't apologize for the darkness it emerges from. It doesn't rush to brighten the sky. It doesn't force its light upon the world. It simply, steadily, magnificently unfolds into what it's meant to be. Your morning rising can be like that sunrise. Not a battle to be won, but a beauty to be witnessed. Not a struggle to be conquered, but a story to be told. Not a burden to be carried, but a blessing to be embraced. But here's what changes everything. You're understanding that your rising isn't just about getting out of bed. It's about getting into life. It's not just about starting your day. It's about stepping into your destiny. It's not just about waking up. It's about awakening to who you truly are. Think about a symphony orchestra for a moment. Before the music begins, there's a moment of silence, a moment of possibility, a moment of potential. Then, one by one, the instruments join in. Some softly, some boldly, some quickly, some slowly, but each one essential, each one perfect in its timing, each one contributing to the greater whole. Your morning rising is like that symphony. Every sensation you feel, every thought you think, every emotion you experience, they're all instruments in your morning orchestra. The heaviness in your limbs, the fog in your mind, the resistance in your spirit, they're not obstacles to your music. They're part of your music. But here's where the magic really happens. When you stop trying to force the music and start conducting it, when you stop fighting the instruments and start harmonizing with them, when you stop resisting the symphony and start dancing to it, let me share something profound with you. Your morning struggle isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're ready for something more. That resistance you feel, it's not pushing against you. It's pushing you toward your potential. That heaviness you experience is not weighing you down, it's grounding you in your power. Think about a tree for a moment. Its branches can only reach as high as its roots grow deep. Your morning struggle is like those roots. The deeper you're willing to go into understanding it, accepting it, working with it, the higher you'll be able to rise beyond it. But here's the beautiful truth. You don't have to figure it all out at once. You don't have to transform overnight. You don't have to become someone different in an instant. What you do need to do is show up. Keep showing up. Keep rising. Keep becoming. Every great journey begins with a single step. Every magnificent story starts with a single word. Every profound transformation initiates with a single choice. Your choice every morning to rise despite the resistance, to move despite the momentum against you, to begin despite the barriers. That's not just a physical act, it's a spiritual declaration. I choose growth over comfort. I choose possibility over predictability. I choose awakening over avoiding. I choose life fully, completely, magnificently. And here's what makes it all so beautiful. You don't have to make this declaration perfectly. You don't have to rise gracefully. You don't have to transform completely. You just have to begin again and again and again. Because every morning is a new beginning. Every awakening is a new chance. Every rising is a new opportunity to choose who you want to become. Think about water again. When it meets an obstacle, it doesn't stop flowing. It doesn't give up. It doesn't turn back. It finds a new way. It creates a new path. It transforms the very landscape it moves through. You have that same power within you, that same adaptability, that same transformative potential. Your morning struggle isn't blocking your flow, it's showing you where to flow next. So tomorrow morning, when that alarm rings, remember this. You're not just waking up to another day, you're waking up to another opportunity to write your story, to compose your symphony, to create your masterpiece. And yes, there will be resistance. Yes, there will be heaviness. Yes, there will be struggle. But these aren't your enemies. They're your allies in the sacred dance of becoming. They're not trying to stop you. They're trying to shape you. They're not trying to break you. They're trying to make you. Because here's the ultimate truth, the one that changes everything. Your morning struggle isn't the opposite of your morning glory. It's the pathway to it. That resistance isn't blocking your transformation. It's birthing your transformation. That heaviness isn't preventing your rising. It's preparing your rising. So rise, beautiful soul. Rise with the sun. Rise with the birds. Rise with the infinite possibility that each new day brings. Rise not because you have to, but because you get to. Rise not from obligation, but from opportunity. Rise not from pressure, but from possibility. Rise knowing that your rising matters. Rise understanding that your struggle has meaning. Rise believing that your transformation is not just possible, it's inevitable. Because you are not just a person trying to get out of bed. You are a miracle learning to recognize itself. You are not just starting another day. You are continuing a magnificent journey of becoming. You are not just facing another morning. You are embracing another moment of magnificent possibility. And in that embrace, in that recognition, in that rising, you become more than you've been. You become who you're meant to be. You become the very light you've been waiting for. So rise, magnificent one. Rise into your power. Rise into your purpose. Rise into your possibility. Rise, the world is waiting for your light.